Allow me to take you back in time for a bit, to the early days of YouTube when the aspect ratio looked like this and there was a 5-star rating system. On this faithful day in late 2006, a friend sends me a link to a YouTube video of a man angrily complaining about video games. This was the Angry Nintendo Nerd, and my first exposure to this form of online entertainment. Naturally, like a lot of people who adopted this style of review early on, this man became iconic in shaping the whole genre. An inspiration, if you will. A 13-year-old me just saw this and said to himself, hey, I could do this. Turns out, you need to have a likable personality and something of a stage presence to get by in this genre, and really, any genre on YouTube. Not to mention confidence speaking in front of a camera, because I was worried that my parents down the hall were going to hear me. Yes, I was one of those types of YouTube kids that made humorously embarrassing and outright cringy content, but hey, we all gotta start somewhere. I do wince a little bit thinking back to those days, but every YouTuber has skeletons in their closet, or a pile of human hands. More specifically in the form of poorly made early video content. So because it's the 11-year anniversary of this particular video, and of my YouTube channel as a whole, as well as it being my birthday in about a week, I'm gonna roast/review my 13-year-old self and use this as an example of what not to do for your first YouTube video. Is it a little bit self-indulgent? Does anyone other than me really care? Probably not, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You didn't ask for it? So here it is.
Yes, hello.
Oh god, that's such an annoyingly high-pitched squeaky voice.
Welcome to my first video game review. I was mostly inspired off the Angry Video Game Nerd to do this video.
Listen, kid, I know your balls haven't dropped yet, but could you at the very least try enunciating your words as you speak? Not mumbling means opening your food hole just a little bit more. And another thing, young Megamitch, at the time known as Mitchell00, move your microphone a little lower away from your mouth. I know you don't have any luxurious equipment like a pop filter yet, but for God's sake, whenever you make a p sound into your headset microphone, I want to die. Oh, and by the way, I'd like to thank an early fan, because yes, surprisingly, this video had a few fans back in the day. Probably ironic fans more than anything, but fans nonetheless. I'd like to thank this early fan who saved this video before I deleted it and sent it to me, because if he hadn't, this particular piece of my personal YouTube history would have been lost forever. I do actually quite like looking back on it, as it shows how far I've come personally as a content creator on YouTube. Okay, resume.
Hopefully it'll become a series. If it doesn't gain popularity quickly, I'll probably quit, but you know, whatever.
Lesson number 1. Do not tell the internet anything along the lines of, please go easy on me, it's my first video and words hurt, because that is going to just make your critics double down on you harder. I was, back in those days, and still am to an extent, very sensitive, and it's a character flaw that I like to believe that I've worked to improve on quite considerably. But yeah, don't say what my younger self just said. Telling people who want to make you quit how to make you quit is only going to add fuel to the potential fire. I'm actually secretly kinda glad that this video didn't become well known enough to become a target of the internet hate machine, or end up in any cringe compilations or anything of the sort. Though, I think it did end up in one early parody video? 2006 YouTube actually wasn't that different to modern YouTube when you really think about it. Oh gosh, I think actually one person even called me their inspiration. I also vaguely remember people making response videos to me back when response videos were a thing. By the way, if you leave any nasty, mean comments on this video, or tell me I'm the worst thing that you've ever seen, I'll probably quit.
So, thank you for, damn it.
Okay, so lesson number 2. Write a fucking script. The, damn it, that you see here is me starting a sentence and not knowing exactly how to end it. I actually think I remember exactly what was going on through my head as I improv'd my way through this part. Originally I was going to say, thank you for watching, but halfway through I was like, shit, no, that should go at the end of the video. Fuck, how do I finish this thought? What should I say instead? And then in that exact split second, my mind cycled through multiple phrases that I could have used to save that moment. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank you for hearing me out. thank you for all the fish. Simply doing a second take hadn't occurred to me whatsoever. This was literally my very, very, very first time recording a video. I had no idea how it worked. I didn't even know how to edit videos, as you will plainly see in a moment from the blurry game footage. I do have to admit though, I actually did quite like the Ray Sipes trope of not cutting out the bit where you go to turn off your camera. Can YouTubers bring that back? Can we have people just start leaving in the parts where they turn the video off, turn their camera off after a take? Because that would be great. It always amused me so much for some reason.
Let's see, guess we'll just start reviewing the game then.
I guess we will.
Yeah. Now the first thing about this game, New Ghostbusters 2, is the title screen. A perfect rendition of the theme.
Renderation is not a word. I think what you meant to say, young Megamitch, is rendition.
And for its time, I gotta say, it's amazing.
Amazing?
Now, you pick two characters, and I guess in the first level you have to go through some library or a laboratory or something.
Young Megamitch, you have seen the fucking movie. You know for a fact that this is the courtroom scene from the second Ghostbusters film. The courtroom scene is one of the most memorable scenes from that film. You wrote a fanfiction specifically about... You know what? It's best that I don't tell the internet about my Ghostbusters / Dragon Ball Z crossover fanfic from when I was a kid. Yeah, let's leave that one well enough alone.
Okay, the controls, you operate the proton packs with the A button, and the second character lays out the trap. In this case I chose Winston. Using the B button, you trap the ghost. Nice and simple.
Okay, I can't really fault you for anything here, as you're just explaining the controls, and to be honest, you're doing it reasonably well, for someone with little improv ability and working without a script. So, I'll boost your potential grade from an F to a D-. How does that sound? Just for not fucking up on the control explanation.
Now, you think that would be easy, right?
Right.
But there's also different kinds of things, like spinny ghosts and ghosts throwing food, and some of them are even invisible and you can only slightly see them.
Ah yes! All your favorite characters from the Ghostbusters films are here! Like, the spinny ghosts, ghosts throwing food, and some of them are even invisible and you can only slightly see them. I particularly liked that last one. Such great puppetry and visual effects on that one.
Yep, through the door. And look, it's the walking, runner ghost.
Huh?
And there's two fat ones. Yes, surprised? I'm not.
What, was that my attempt at trying to be funny? Was the joke that it isn't surprising that the Slimers are fat because they eat a lot in the film? Okay, well, if you were trying to make a fat joke, it didn't work. Also, you are not one to talk, because you end up putting on quite a few kilos in the following years. Surprised? I'm not. What?
Yeah, as you can see, there's the blinky one I was talking about earlier, the one I was referring you to. Oh, and just in case you don't know, that arrow is symbolizing where you have to go in the game.
Considering that you're not cutting up the footage in any significant way, young Megamitch, I don't think you need to explain what the arrow indicated, because it is pretty obvious to anyone watching. God damn, I actually feel kind of bad now. If past me actually saw this video of his future self berating him with sarcastic remarks, he probably wouldn't take it too well.
And green, oh my goodness, green goo coming out of a bathtub. Now that is gameness. Cool.
Okay, never mind. I don't feel bad anymore. Just embarrassed. Like, what kind of phrasing was that? That's just gameness cool? I think I was just trying to be goofy and random, because I was all about being goofy and random back then. But I've since learned that random does not necessarily equal funny. Or rather, random is only funny in small doses, or with the correct context. Like, humor is generally subjective, but generally, humor typically comes from a place of the unexpected. It is playing with people's expectations, guiding them down one road of thought, and then hitting them with a completely different road of thought that plays with and/or inverts their initial expectations. The issue is that you didn't set up the people's expectations in any significant way so that you could then throw off their expectations. That is how this works. Setup, punchline. You missed the setup. Short version of this rant, That wasn't funny.
I'm not very good at reviewing games, as you can see, but this is my first time, so go easy on me.
No, I will not go easy on you. I take no pleasure in saying this, but god damn it! This has been a long time coming. Listen, it is perfectly okay to be influenced by your favorite creators online, but what makes what they do work is that they conducted research and they wrote out what they were going to say. They separated their reviews into segments of reacting to the gameplay, educating the audience on details about the game, and exaggerated jokes at the game's expense. You have not done any of that. In fact, I would go as far as to say that your dumb, generic, cookie-cutter observations of everything that you see in front of you could very well be applied to literally anything. There is a lot more to game reviewing and entertainment than simply stating what you see on the screen in front of you. These things take time, they take effort, they take talent, and they take ages to master. So much so that you can't even comprehend it yet because you're a dumb 13-year-old kid that just fucking recorded this in one night and pasted it all into Windows Movie Maker, uploaded it, and then called it a day. And people that make the kind of generic shit that you do never get any better, they never learn their lesson, and they don't get any views. They don't stand out as their own types of creators, and that is all on them. Not on the fucking system that hosts your garbage, ass, blurry, unregistered hypercam, boring, lackluster game review. Was that too harsh?
Well, as you can see there, I just plainly died, because the ghost was throwing the trays.
Good.
Now here is the food throwing ghosts, as I told you about earlier. Yeah. Just be warned, it is very difficult to dodge these guys. It took me about 3 tries at this game before I successfully defeated all 3 of them and got, to the next part of the level. And there's this huge table and a few lockers, at least I think they're lockers. I think Ghostbusters 2 is trying to remind kids to, stay in school.
No? What? How is any of that related whatsoever?
And here we go, up. And this is the final boss of level 1. No, not the moving chairs. Of course not the moving chairs. Now, you see, I had a little trouble here, thought I was gonna die, but, the chair obviously didn't see me because he went the other way.
The chair didn't see me. I think that's the most hilarious line from this review that you could possibly take out of context. The chair didn't see me. It has no eyes.
Oh, and there's a little, I think it's a present. Look at the bow tie. Ugh. And then 2 little blue things come out. I don't remember them from the film, but, it's probably those guys. Oh, it's a courtroom, not a laboratory or a library.
Some people who watched my review back in the day assumed that I hadn't seen the film, and honestly, I don't blame them. I would have assumed the exact same thing, given how little knowledge I seem to show off in this video. Oh man, I was an idiot. Oh, wow. Do I even need to say anything? You're basically criticizing yourself in your own review now. What was that you said earlier about telling people to go easy on you? I guess that doesn't apply when it's coming from yourself. Yes! That means I get a free pass! Hell yeah!
Yep, as you can see, plainly see there, I got him, and round clear! Now, overall, I think it was a pretty good game.
Hey! Psst! Past Mega Mitch! Hey! Young Mega Mitch! I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you make your fucking bed before you start shooting?
It kept true to its action movie counterpart. It's a little hard at some points, but it's good for a Ghostbusters game. It's a game made by the HAL Laboratories, the same people that made Kirby. They did pretty well for this game. It wasn't anything like Super Mario Brothers.
It wasn't anything like Super Mario Brothers. No, it wasn't anything like Super Mario Brothers. Why would you have expected it to be? You do realize other games existed that aren't Super Mario Brothers, right?
But hey, it's a Ghostbusters game, and nobody can complain about something as good as Ghostbusters.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea yet how funny that is to hear. Nobody can complain about something as good as Ghostbusters. I repeat, nobody can complain about something as good as Ghostbusters. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Keep telling yourself that. There will never, ever, 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 ever be anything worth complaining about, or that could be deemed controversial, with the name Ghostbusters attached to it. Nope, not at all. I can't think of anything.
Well, thanks for listening to my first video game video, and good night.
Good night, even though it's very clearly daytime in the background. Jesus Christ on toast, that was the cringiest part of the whole video. Oh, god damn it. I am wincing so hard after that. The aerial bold italics, the fucking Mega Man sprite in the corner talking with an echo effect put over it, with no attempt at trying to actually voice act at all. Oh, and by the way, you are not a production. You're just not. You are not a studio. You're not anything. You are just a kid sitting in your bedroom making crappy game reviews over the school holiday period because you had nothing better to do, with the false expectation that maybe someday you could be famous for screaming at video games like your hero, the angry video... Wait, that accurately defines who I am today as well. Damn it. In all seriousness though, and hyperbole aside, this was actually a lot of fun to look back on, and if it weren't for this video, I wouldn't be making videos today. Whether that's a good or bad thing is completely up to you. But honestly, I think that every YouTuber should take a look back on their very first video ever. If you are a YouTuber, tell me in the comment section below, what was your first YouTube video? Or do one better, and make a video talking about or reacting to your first ever YouTube video, like I did. As always, this has been Megamitch, and remember, before you laugh at other people, first learn to laugh at yourself.